Anyway, so they basically took a political answer here and said making things like we did for Crawler's Nest Shadow Rain is actually going to be really difficult, so don't expect it. But I think secretly they're just working on the next one. The new scenario, Eclipse Embryo TVR, which was added and started in August 2020, gives the impression that the climax is finally approaching. Please tell us about the future developments and when it will be completed. Fujito says the time to complete it is really down, but I wonder if it will be a little later than expected. I'm a little worried that if I can fold the unfolded Furoshiki well, storyline maybe? We're also preparing some new battlefields this time, but we're not implementing the new areas yet, I guess is what that means to say. Why is that? Fujito answers, oh yeah, this is another interesting point, so this next part is really important. In not Voracious Resurgence, in ROV, we added 3 areas: Eska Zeta, Eshka Ruan, and Raizenjima. In the end, people concentrated on Raizenjima, or Rice Field. People are concentrated in online games, but I want to avoid all scenarios and battles there. Regarding the battlefield, there's an advantage that it is less likely to be a problem, even if it gets a little crowded, because it basically adopts a layer area. Okay, so they're saying the next thing is going to be instanced, and they don't want all the battle content to be concentrated on that zone. I guess they're basically saying, oh, I see. They're addressing the fact that Raizenjima might have been, and chat, comment on this one, please. And actually, YouTube, feel free to comment down below. How crowded was Raizenjima when it was popular? I don't know. I came in way late. Moving on. In the story, the existence of prime weapons was mentioned, but can players get it? You can. This we already know from the this month's letter, the developer letter, and in addition to the JP live stream. But they go on to elaborate more. The interviewer says, I was surprised that was such a fast answer. Fujito says, it is possible that there's nothing. It's possible that doesn't mean anything, but prime weapons will first be obtained as the story progresses. This is really fascinating. Prime weapons will be first obtained as the story progresses. So we're going to get base versions. We're probably going to get them, honestly, July. I'm going to guess July for a base version of a prime weapon. I don't know. Then it says it's about getting people to understand what a prime weapon is through a story. And then prime weapons was originally called Black Relic in development. We've been calling them Black Relics as a community. The reason why it was named Prime Weapon, because it's clear as the story progresses. So we're going to get word as to why it's called a Prime Weapon. Really fascinating details here. In any case, you can't get it without advancing the TVR, so we hope you continue to do so. Of course, the Black Ragnarok. Then they go on to say the scenario is not yet completed, but the reward for the quest implemented from February to April was a fairly high performance neck weapon, so there is no loss in proceeding. Oh boy. It's a waste as a reward I'm not very happy with, says Fujita. So I'm Fujito. Vegeta? So I'm preparing something that can be used as it is. I really thought they were getting augments, choosable augments like the earrings. Matsui says, we all discuss and decide on rewards, but the quality assurance team sometimes complained. I'm not happy with this kind of performance. For them, finding bugs is their main task, but pointing out from the player's point of view is also an important task. Yeah, I totally agree. The Adeline necks are nice. They have their kind of role to them, but seriously, just give them kind of like even a couple of interesting augments to choose from. They don't even have to be overpowered. They go from being like, okay, I'll use this, to like, heck yeah. Like I might even do the storyline just to get these necks and their augments, even if they're not necessarily incredibly impressive. Fujito says, we also asked the QA team, is it delicious for the players? I trust that the QA team will also have all the members who have played FF11 for many years. Okay, so this one, strength plus 10, attack, and I think it's ranged attack plus 30, attack and ranged attack plus 30. And then if you're a Bastok, you get regain plus 2. Minimal. But give me the choice of PDL 3% or I don't know, weapon skill damage, 5%. That might even be a little high. You know, or option 3 is 20 extra attack. I don't know. You know, and then have it be changeable with like once per week or something. You know, you drop it and get a new one. I don't know. The magic one is int plus 10 and mab plus 10. If you're citizen of Windhurst, refresh plus 1. It's fine. You know, let us get magic crit rate 2 on it. You know, you just added that stat to the game or something. Like, then the next one's a tank one, which is Citizens of Sandoria regen plus 3. All you got to do is add some kind of marginal and interesting choose your own edition. I think they're great. Base, they're good. Small edition, great. By the way, in February 2022, the expansion of storage, which had been said to be no longer possible, was realized. There are 4 storage items with age. Okay, so yeah, wardrobes were added with an additional 4 of them with 80 slots each. How did this happen? Matsui says, what I don't want you to misunderstand is that impossible has not changed in us, as has always been the case. It takes a considerable amount of time for all the belongings in the storage to be displayed after the area change. This waiting time is already the limit for us, and it can be achieved if the players can tolerate it no matter how long it takes. Oh, okay. So they're saying as long as the players don't care, like we'll add more storage, but for them, they prefer the time not to increase. However, lack of storage is a serious problem for today's players, and it is true that it's divisible by that. Some players are annoyed by it, some players it doesn't affect, is what he's saying, I think. After that, I was able to confirm that the entire game system would not collapse, so I decided to implement it. Fujito says the server area that remembers what items a player has can be increased as much as possible. However, due to the increase, the waiting time it is displayed until the area change will be longer. Some people are already stressed by the number of items they have, but we can't help them further. For us, increasing storage meant that we had to overcome the challenge of increasing the number of items we could have, while keeping the waiting time unchanged or rather decreasing. However, I couldn't do anything systematically. I think this is in part of why some of the Odyssey equipment looks the way it does. When you look at, for example, Neame having weapon skill damage, the weapon skill damage path also be the double attack path. I think they're looking at Neame as a piece that you would equip during TP phase and stay equipped in for weapon skill. Path A, obviously store TP and accuracy is just a straight up TP piece. But it also has PDL, right? Doesn't the STP piece also have PDL? Or am I mistaken on that one? It does. Same concept. You would then just weapon skill in this, you know, assuming you have max attack, and you know you would be getting PDL. So if you look at the Ikenga set is even worse. The anticipation with the Ikenga set is that you would be shooting in it for pre-shot, mid-shot, and weapon skill. And I'll prove that with the Ikenga's vest. Pre-shot, snapshot plus 9, mid-shot, store TP plus 11, and technically PDL is affecting your hits of your physical attacks, in addition to your weapon skill, but that's not even my main point. Come down to the augments, TP bonus plus 190. TP bonus only affects your weapon skill. For example, the Ikenga set is meant to alleviate inventory stress by having, you know, no longer are you making the choice between, do I want my snapshot, do I want my store TP, or do I want my weapon skill, even with a player who uses equip sets. Effectively, you could utilize this in all 3 of your sets and never change it, period, as a ranger. However, as we know, optimally, you're probably not going to be doing that, even if you're an equip set user. So they're talking about storage challenges. So they're saying here, you had no choice but to answer impossible then. However, there are still many requests from players and we continue to explore the possibilities. Therefore, this time I aim to create an atmosphere that does not make you feel the length of waiting time. Yeah, I think they did a good job with that. By changing the order that items load, inventory first and wardrobe 1, etc., I think that in general, it doesn't really affect players as much as the old system used to. Isn't it something that you devise in terms of experience and impression? That's right. Until now, after the area change, the equipment screen and item list could not be opened until the download of the process completed completely. Yeah. It was a safety consideration, considering that it was a possibility of an accident depending upon the timing of the item use and selection. After thoroughly verifying the safety, we managed to release it in order of download and managed to reduce the specifications to the implementation level so as not to burden the player as much as possible. When you read this statement, if you're looking at the game right now and saying, we didn't get anything for the 20th anniversary, the 20th, they promised us big things and they didn't deliver. The inventory load management that they changed like a couple of months ago, in addition to the tons of new content we have between here and November, if you don't see that the devs are properly and significantly working on the game, like, you're blind. I understand if you have a specific complaint about something that releases, or maybe even a complaint about the amount of time it's taking for Odyssey. Odyssey's really long, okay? But that just means we're getting storyline more month to month to month. Yeah, Recycle, another fantastic example of a way that the devs are aware of players, how they're playing, and they want to support us as devs. I'll bite on the amount of money it's costing for wardrobes. I will say it's a little excessive. They could have made it $1 for the 5th, 6th, and the 6th, 7th, and 8th wardrobes instead of 2. If you have specific complaints, it's fine. But as an overall, you can see this whole paragraph here talks about how, like, listen, we hear you, we understand it, we're working on it. All right, so the interviewer says, I see, the overall download time is longer, but the time it takes to check and operate the item is shorter. Fujito says, that's the image that suits me. As a result, the increase in storage was in Slate for implementation, but as the storage increased, there would definitely be an option that macros and equipment sets would be insufficient. So this is also a set. Yeah, they gave us more equip sets also. They doubled the amount of equip sets we had. I thought it should be implemented in. However, when increasing the number of macros and equipment sets, it is necessary to expand the menu system on the client side to the extent that it can withstand, and it is also necessary to improve the backup of the settings. Therefore, we've also modified the settings software in the FF11 config so that various settings can be saved as a backup file on the local disk of your local computer. I had no idea this happened. Apparently, you can save your settings as a backup. That would probably be very wise. As a local backup. So you could always save your macros and stuff as a local backup, but I'd have to look at this before I can comment further. Fujita says, I feel like I managed to make it in time for the 20th anniversary. Also, since these people in charge picked up the problems that occurred around the items properly, you can recover the items that you accidentally thrown away. Yeah, up to the last 10 items that have not changed the area or disconnected the line. System could be implemented at the same time. This is the recycling bin, which is an excellent addition. There's a riddle. Is that a... They're showing a screenshot of a riddle getting thrown out. That's great. The area around items is a particularly delicate part of the terms of the program, but thanks to the engineer of the third development business headquarters, who was in charge of this time understanding the specifications of FF11 in a short period of time, the schedule went smoothly without any trouble. It was a far-reaching plan that took a long time to add storage, partly because we solved the problems one by one. Okay. Whew. A little bit more to go. I'm going to take some water. This is going to be a long video, chat. At first, I thought this wouldn't make it to YouTube, but I think that there's a lot of information to parse here and a lot of translation issues, and I kind of have been keeping up on top of things enough to kind of like understand what they're getting at. So anyway, is there anything amazing about Jerry? Ericor? That active players want to know. Oh, job abilities? Job abilities. It's a bit of a pinpoint story, but there are opinions that the hunter's new ability, Hover Shot, wants a performance that is a little bit more commensurate with the trouble of repeatedly moving and attacking. People are complaining about Hover Shot. I mean, Hover Shot is annoying. In the first place, Hover Shots have been adjusted so that the cost is high, but the performance is also high from the background of the introduction. Please understand that it is a performance because it is not an ability that anyone can use at any time. I think it's quite effective in long-lasting battles. The image is that you can use hover shots and decoy shots properly depending upon the enemy. I 100% agree with this. To me, hover shot was a perfect implementation. You struggle, but you deal double damage. I'll take it. And then for the shots where you need decoy, you have it. Which I still think decoy is being less used in today's environment, but that's just because of the implementation of Odyssey, I believe. Odyssey's Shale Jail is quite rewarding as the current end content, but what about the player's capture situation from the development side? Oh, I guess they're saying, what do the devs think about the player reception? According to Matsui, he said, "Don't be knocked down. The boss of Jail, Bumba, was made stronger from the beginning, but the number of players exceeding it is almost as expected. It is possible to open the upper limit vengeance difficulty, but we are currently watching the situation." Fujito says, "When the next vengeance upper limit is opened, we have prepared elements that will lead to the motivation to challenge because there is this." Oh, okay, so the augments that they're planning on putting on the Odyssey gear should be an incentive, is what they're saying for this. Is the high-ranking mission Battlefield Shinryu that was implemented in July 2021, but it seems to be that the drop weapons and armor is very astringent. Is there a mechanism to increase the drop rate? Matsui says, after all, this part kind of bothers me, but we're going to read through it, chat. After all, the reward is high performance, so we adjust it with the acquisition probability commensurate with it. On the other hand, when we raise the required merit point to 30, we also revise the drop rate upwards. Some people say, I feel like it hasn't changed, but it's set exactly as expected. They're not answering the question. Is there any mechanism? Fujito says, Battlefield is basically a difficult place because once you get the equipment, it's over and no one will go anymore. Do you want to increase the drop rate instead of making the enemy very strong, or make the battle moderately difficult and reduce the acquisition rate? In this Shinryu, we are trying to narrow down the probability in consideration of the performance of the ward. They didn't answer this question. Is there a mechanism? I just really want a straight yes or no to that. Recently, the exchange limit for ambuscade armor enchantment items has increased. The new options have been added to the enhancement conditions for AF 119 and Relic 119. Substantial mitigation is taking place while these adjustments come in the future. Oh, they're saying, will you lower the requirements for AF and Relic? First of all, ambuscade armor, but for those who have recently returned or about to start, is not necessary to spend the same amount of time on the part that takes at least this many months to fully strengthen all. It is a change from the perspective. This is kind of chopped up. The effort to get weapons, armor, and enhancements is about the same as before, but we've increased the maximum amount you can get in a month to allow you to upgrade faster. The same is true for AF and Relic. Yes, they added cards to Trove. They added scales to Trove, so that's true. Relic, they added shards and voids to Trove. And did they add... I feel like they added shards to something else, didn't they? Or voids to something else? Oh, they did. They've been doing the Crush campaign more often, which is the result of judging that it is no longer necessary to narrow down the means of obtaining them at the entrance stage in order to get them to participate in each content. Yeah, the scales to normal mobs is what I meant to say. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the scales thing is important, but I don't know. The cards are still hard to come by, but the card farm campaign is not as common as it should be. I'm torn on whether or not they understand where the players are at with this. I don't know. Fujito says ambuscade armor in particular has a large aspect of being equipment for connecting you until you participate in endgame content. Correct. Until a while ago, the performance difference was such that the armor available in various contents and the ambuscade armor were compared and used properly depending upon the situation, but the equipment available in the end contents in the future will be considerably high performance. Therefore, I would like you to quickly strengthen the armor of ambuscade and challenge the end content. They're saying they're improving the speed at which you can acquire ambuscade more quickly because that's jumping you into endgame. Relic takes a long time to unlock also. Well, they added the relic unlocks, the new relic unlocks, by killing 100 mobs. You don't have to kill the mid-boss or the Wave 1 boss. Although the Wave 1 boss was never difficult, so I'm not sure. I mean, well, never. I don't know. I can't speak for all players on that one. Matsui says... Oh, you mean time-wise. That makes sense. Mitsui says, I was worried about this change in the exchange limit. If you raise the limit, the players who have to do everything up to the limit will be disappointed. I think that having an upper limit for earning points is a kind of kindness. In that sense, I was a little worried about changing the upper limit, but now I think that many people are thinking that they should be able to play at their own pace, so it is possible to earn once in the month when time is available. I think it's okay to do it. Yeah, I see what you guys are saying. Many people who have experienced raising the master level should think, but are there any plans for a campaign to increase the amount of exemplar points? So they're finally answering this. I love this interview for the amount of concrete information it's given. There's only 1 or 2 points that I think could have used a little bit clearer of an explanation. Here's a good one. They have no plans to increase the amount of exemplar points earned. No rings, no nothing. Experience bonuses such as rings are also intentionally excluded. The only thing that Corsair's role affects the amount you earn, but it's more natural due to the nature of the ability, so I'm leaving it as is. I think this was an oversight. I think Corsair's role was an oversight, and that's why Fujito says I'm leaving it as is. I hate to call you out, producers. It's really potent. And that's what it is. They announced when it came out that it would work. I don't remember particularly. But maybe they did. I don't know. To me it's too powerful for what like having to have a Corsair in every party essentially. Otherwise you're gimping your EXP rate, your M level rank, or your mastery point gain. Regarding the amount of acquisition follow-up, we are considering using some items in the future. So in other words, for now, no plans. With the introduction of Master Level, the difference in ability between the player and the trust will be further widened. When they say face, they mean trust. How about adding the strengthening element of the trust? Matsui says, oh, I see, Misa. Shinryu drop rate. Yeah, that makes sense. Matsui says, trusts are not designed for situations that require so much combat ability. Right. It's solo stuff. So at the moment, we are not thinking about strengthening it uniformly. However, as you said, the characters are getting stronger and stronger. So if there's something good to do, Fujito says, the trust is made to get rid of a lack of manpower when you want to do something. So if you make it dramatically stronger, on the contrary, you only need the trust. It can also be. It's very difficult to adjust, but the consistency policy is that the trust shouldn't be too strong. Since this is an MMORPG, basically the end content is party, which is the part I want to protect. Matsui says, just like Valena, it is possible that job adjustments will be made to partially strengthen certain phases. Valena was given an excellent adjustment, and I'm super happy with it. FF11 is celebrating the 20th anniversary. Please tell us about Vanadil in the future. Whew, we're almost done here. I'm going to drink some more water. Some of the content I told you that I will deliver to you during the 20th anniversary has not been implemented yet. For the past year, I will do my best to make it fun and enjoyable. We hope that all adventurers will enjoy this 20th anniversary together. Like, this year is the 20th anniversary. I get this month is the 20th anniversary, but my gosh. In the 3-year plan announced in 2019, he said FF11 will continue to be in service until 2022. So he said, so people said maybe the service will end in 2022, and some may have been worried. However, as Mr. Matsui said earlier, it seems that the superiors of the company are saying, I want you to continue. So I think that worry is not for the time being. However, it is not safe without doing anything, and what I have to do and what I should focus on continued FF11 is always a challenge for me. If I was spending such days, I think that FF11 will continue to move, with a feeling like, the 30th anniversary? We were just celebrating the 20th. Now, I would like to do my best, including the completion of the Voracious Resurgence. Awesome. Really cool. Really great little interview. I hope that we get some additional points come the Reddit it's not an AMA, but the Reddit interview that comes on Monday. Exemplar points are gained unaffected by ranks and other equipment earned from various campaigns that confer a bonus to experience point gains. Note that Corsair roll effects are properly applied. Alright, I eat my words on that a little bit then. I don't know. I don't know if I like it then. Let's just say. I like it from a player perspective. I don't know if I like it from a design perspective. That's all. Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. YouTube, this is a long one, but there's a lot here. And I would like to just say that while we didn't necessarily get we didn't match what the hype was necessarily this month in particular. If you are playing the game right now, you are already overwhelmed with all of the different campaigns that are going on and trying to make use of your time while playing. It's already difficult. If this was already on top of, if this was on top of new content as well, I think it would be extra overwhelming for the players. I'm super looking forward to July. I'm looking forward to getting caught up on my master levels and my jobs that don't have M level 30 yet. And it's still a super great time to jump in on the game. But yeah, catch me live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Scotty_Deluxe, where I stream throughout the week. If you want to catch some Final Fantasy XI. Also, I have a Discord linked in the description down below if you want to talk about this stuff further. But other than that, I'm Scotty Deluxe. This has been the interview from Famitsu, and I'll see you next time. Peace.